welcome to the show. Last week we met some fascinating small dragons and geckos. Now Australia has so many interesting species of gecko that we thought this week we'd continue over and show you one more interesting family. They are the leaf-tails. And then we'll move on to meeting children's pythons and the frill-neck lizard. Now, first up, I wanted to introduce you to a very interesting species of gecko that lives right under a lot of people's noses, even though they don't even know it. I'm here on the north shore of Sydney, literally in someone's backyard, surrounded by a sandstone outcrop. Now this is the perfect and preferred habitat for the southern leaf-tail, or the broad leaf-tail. It's an interesting gecko because it lives in people's houses, in their sheds, in their garage, and many people in Sydney have never even seen them, but they're around. They're just very cryptic and very secretive. Now it's going to be dark in about 20 minutes, so I'm going to get my head torch and I'm going to be get ready for having a bit of a walk around and suss around these rocks and see if I can find some, because it's only after dark that these animals become active. It's a bit treacherous walking around through here. These honeycomb formations are amazing. I suspect they're formed by millions of years of water dripping underneath these rocks. Some of these caves I can't even see in, they're so deep. There's something in there, but that one's just too deep for me to get to. Oh, I can see something here. I can see scales. I'm trying to get away. I got it. Ah, very tight. Ah. Look at that, beautiful southern leaf-tail gecko with an original tail. It's a male. It's got the big hemipenal bulges at the base of the tail. It's in really good condition. It's trying to bite me. Give him a little go. Little bite. It's having a little bite. Doesn't really hurt. Doesn't have much in the way of teeth. We'll put this guy back and hopefully he can find some females in the not too distant future. See if I can get down from here.
This is Saltuarius salabrosus, rough-throated leaf-tail gecko, one of the largest gecko species in Australia. Certainly not the bulkiest, but in terms of length is up there amongst the largest. Leaf-tail geckos are less commonly kept. They have a few little quirky problems. They're very heat sensitive, despite the fact that many of them come from places like North Queensland and Central Queensland. Where they live, they seek out very cool areas. So heat sensitivity is a problem. At the same time, it also means that no heating is required, no UV lights required. Just keep a reasonably moist enclosure, and they're quite nice. And there's about 6 species currently available of leaf-tail geckos, of which this is the largest. This one has an original tail, so you can see the nice little flutes on the edge of the tail that allow it to blend in nicely with the surface of the trunk that they sit on. I'll just get one out that has a regenerated tail. This is a slightly darker individual but with a regenerated tail, so you can see it's not quite as ornate. It doesn't have the nice little fine tip to it, but they still blend in quite nicely up against a tree trunk covered in lichen. So this is a female. You can see no bulges at the base of the tail. compared to the male, which has very obvious hemipenal bulges right there at the base of the tail. So this is Saltuarius cornutus. This is a adult male, and this is your northern leaf-tailed gecko. So this was one of the original species that they've now sort of split everything else off from. Here's a regenerated tail there, so it doesn't have all its nice little fine features. See from underneath there is a male with the big hemipenal bulges. Just there. These guys are a rainforest species, occurring mainly in large fig trees, fig buttresses. They tend to spend most of their time hidden during the day, and then at night they come and they adopt this head down posture where they're quite comfortable and wait for crickets and cockroaches and that to come moving up the trees to feed, where they then pounce on them. So they're very cryptic species. The actually easiest way to locate them is to actually look at their eye shine, because to see their body up against a lichen covered fig tree is very, very difficult, even when you're only within a metre or so of them.
This eastern stone gecko belongs to the Australian genus of Diplodactylus. Its two eggs can be clearly seen within its abdomen. Stone geckos will hatch after about 2 months of incubation at 30 degrees. Hatchlings are tiny and can be quite difficult to feed. Unlike dragons and goannas, once the hatching process has begun, geckos emerge very quickly from the egg. This leopard gecko hatched within 30 minutes of first slashing the egg,